prices just got dearer across the state of Maharashtra for commuters as the state government has increased VAT on petrol. So prices have increased by 3 rupees. Currently per litre of petrol costs 77.45 rupees. On the other hand, diesel prices remain unchanged as the state government has not made any changes in VAT for diesel. Now, when we spoke to a couple of commuters, they of course said that this was massively unfair considering prices have been extremely unstable over the last couple of months.
That the price of petrol production from the crude oil is just 25 rupees a litre. So it is 3 times the cost of the petrol prices what it should be, that the taxes are taking it away. The state, the excise, the government, central government. So this is what is not fair.
हम लोग को गाड़ी निकलने के लिए भी है ना 10 बार सोचना पड़ रहा है। अभी कोई तो कुछ कर नहीं रहा है। हम लोग आगे जाके ऐसे ही रहेगा तो बहुत प्रॉब्लम होगा। हम लोग को गाड़ी बेच के चलना पड़ेगा।
आप अरब कंट्रीज में जाइए, उधर पेट्रोल का जो रेट है बहुत कम है, तो यहाँ पे जो पेट्रोल का रेट भी कम होना चाहिए।
तो जो आम आदमी है, जो छोटे व्हीकल वाले हैं, उनको कोई इतना ज़्यादा फर्क पड़ेगा?
जो कर रहा है करते रहने वाला है, जो बढ़ाने वाला बढ़ाते रहने वाला है। तो घर का बात हो गया है, करना है करो, नहीं करना है करो, वो लोग डिसीजन लेते और कर डालते हैं, अपने को कोई पूछता ही नहीं है।
We'll have to take public transport and even public transport is not that good in our city. If you see the local trains or something, so they have to come up with the metros faster or else they have to reduce the prices.
वो तो अभी दिल्ली पे हो गया, शेयर बाजार जैसा नीचे ऊपर होता है।
मोदी सरकार ने बार बार ऐलान यही करती थी, अच्छे दिन आने वाले, अच्छे दिन आने वाले, लेकिन अभी वो हमारे अच्छे दिन जाके अभी इतने बुरे दिन आ गए।
Well, here's the truth about it. When petrol is actually refined, it costs about 27 rupees. 27 rupees, that is the price of petrol as it stands today. What do you pay? In the city of Mumbai, we pay 77.45 rupees. In Delhi, we pay 68 rupees. Bangalore pays 73 rupees. Hyderabad pays 72 rupees. Chennai pays 71 rupees. And Kolkata pays 70 rupees. From 27 to 70 rupees. How did it get that high? Everything else in between, other than the 2.5 rupees that's margin for the dealer in the petrol pump, everything else is going to either state or central government. It is appalling that the government that promised us in 2014 that it will bring down the prices of essential commodities has done nothing but squeeze more money out of the middle class. Who uses petrol in our country? People who ride their bikes to work. People who take their wives and their children on for an evening because that is the only form of transport they have. People who own small cars because our public transport in all of our cities is appalling. Where is the justification to constantly increase excise duty on petrol when the price of crude has fallen so drastically that it is now being imported in our country for as little as 12 rupees per litre of crude oil, which then gets refined and comes up to 27 rupees per litre of petrol. From there to where you actually get it into your car or your motorcycle, the government is loading you with taxes, which is absolutely uncalled for. Let's accept the fact that we have to pay the taxes and bear the burden of development in this country. Fine, that's okay with me. Where is the accountability? Where is the money going? The Maharashtra government has said that they are increasing these taxes, of which they will make about 1,000 crore rupees. They will use the money for agriculture. Well, I think I'm already paying a Krishi Kalyan cess. Where is the Krishi Kalyan cess going? When am I going to get a hisab or an account for where you're using that money? The Maharashtra government also collected 1,300 crore rupees as a drought cess between the years of 2015 and 16. Where did that money go? When are we going to get an account for how that money was spent? You're just going to take more and more out of our pockets without offering us any accountability of how much money was actually paid to farmers who are still committing suicide in the state of Maharashtra. The middle class is not an ATM. The middle class is not your piggy bank that you can reach into and take out money as and when you feel like it because you are having trouble managing your state accounts. If you want to treat us like an ATM, you're going to have to give us an account of where this money is going. Enough is enough. That's what we are talking about today on the Urban Debate. The middle class will not pay any more to the governments of our states or our centre unless we receive a clear account of where this money is going. Joining me on the show this evening will be Vishwas Pathak, spokesperson of the BJP. Also in the studio, Ratnakar Mahajan is the Vice President and spokesperson of the Congress in the state. Ravi Shinde is the President of the Petrol Dealers Association. Indrani Malkani is the Managing Trustee of We Citizens Action Network, who fights for the rights of consumers. Janvi Bhagat is the founder of the Police Patni Ekta Manch. She comes in right now as someone who runs a household in the city and tells us how difficult it is with the rising prices of fuel, the rising prices of LPG, the rising prices of food, the rising prices of school fees. How are we to run homes in this city? Rajiv Mishra is an RTI activist. Yogeshwar Valla is a biker from the Wanderer Group. And Mahendra Jain is also a consumer who joins us in on the show right now. I'm going to start with the person who represents, of course, the Petrol Dealers Association, Ravi Shinde. Ravi Shinde, tell me how much tax we pay in this country on petrol. How much of it is actually oil and how much of it is actually tax?
Well, 75% is taxes. Well, if you say in those terms that a middleman is not an ATM, well, this is an absolute loot. But the problem is where it gets worse when the person who is being looted doesn't make any noise.
75% of what we pay is taxes. And let me now bring in, of course, the representative of the government who joins us in the studio, Vishwas Pathak ji. Namaskar. Thank you for joining us. Pathak ji, आप हमें समझाइए कि ये पैसे आप किस चीज़ के लिए ले रहे हैं?
Would you ask the accountability for the money which is being collected? Let me tell you at the outset, any government which has got clear-cut vision, projected economy, they would always try and calculate how much money they would need and how to collect that. Collection through taxes is one of the avenues for any government. Where this money goes, I will reply in very simple language. When the GDP, average GDP worldwide is in the range of 2.5 to 3%, India is achieving a GDP of 7.5% and Maharashtra in particular around 10%. Our GDP is contributed by agriculture activities to the extent of 60%. It means this money goes to the agriculturist only. The amount of this cess which is being collected now is towards the drought cess only, and drought cess is collected for the long-term purposes and long-term uses. I think this replies where this money goes.
No, it does not. I'll tell you what my problem is with your answer, Mr. Pathak. Let me tell you. 400 farmers committed suicide in Maharashtra in the month of January alone. 1,982 farmers committed suicide in the state in 2014. That number went up to 3,228 in 2015 and 3,052 in 2016. 2017 is slated to be just as bad, if not worse. To make matters worse, we understand that the price of power distributed to farmers in the state of Maharashtra has been doubled on their water run pumps this year, which means you are making the farmers pay more for their own electricity. Also, the farmers who have had a bumper crop of tur and sugarcane this year were not able to make any money because they did not get a guaranteed minimum support price. The farmers are starving. They're killing themselves. They're leaving behind widows and children who do not know how to feed themselves, Mr. Pathak. See, please tell me, sir, the 1,300 crore rupees that your government collected in the years 15-16 as a drought cess, give me an account of where that money went.
See, I don't deny about the suicides numbers which you are giving. These are the facts. That means we need to do many more things for our farmers, which this government is trying to do. And this tax which will be collected will be utilized towards that purposes only. Now, I want to tell you, you're talking about electricity. I think you need to make your record straight. See, there is a regulatory commission called MERC in Maharashtra. that defines the tariff of this state, and there is a multi-year tariff concept. It means prices are fixed for next 4 years. So for next 4 years, prices are fixed with the hike of 9%, meaning thereby around 2% per annum is the hike. Therefore, don't please misguide our viewers that prices have been doubled for the farmers.
So tell me this, now you haven't answered the question I asked you, Mr. Pathak, the 1,300 crore rupees that was collected by the Maharashtra government between 15 and 16. Where did that money go? How was it used? How many farmers benefited from that money? Can you give us an account, please?
Yes, I'll tell you. See, for the farmers, what this government has done, what is the fundamental reason for committing suicides? Farmers are not getting water to their farms when it is required, especially when there is a gap between 2 rains. In that case, they require water and they require electricity. For electricity, earlier government used to maintain a pending list of 1,50,000. This government has cleared that pending list. Now across the table you get agriculture connection. As far as water is concerned, through this Jal Yukta Shivar, now there is water available which will take care of the gaps between 2 rains, and this is how funds are being utilized, this is how funds are being invested.
So the entire 1,300 crore rupees that was collected was used to generate, to provide electricity to farmers. Ratnakar Mahajan representing the Congress party. Do you agree?
You can't isolate the amounts that are collected by the state government in terms of taxes on various items. The answer to your first question, where did the money go? The money went into the combined fund of the state government, from which expenses on various schemes and various departments' ongoing schemes are made.
But Mr.
One of them is agriculture.
But this state government has also given us, the finance minister of Maharashtra has given us an assurance in the press repeatedly saying that the money will only and only be used for agriculture. So this particular hike that we're talking about, where the government is going to collect 1,000 crore rupees from the urban middle class, it gives us an assurance that the money will only be used for agriculture. I want to know, if you are saying that it's not possible that the money will go into the fund, then why is the government making fake promises to us?
He is making a wrong assurance. It only means that he doesn't know the basic tenets of statecraft. Now, to remain within the precincts of the present topic, it must be said that the present hike in the name of drought cess is unwarranted, unprecedented, and inadequate and unnecessary. Because 15-16 was a very good monsoon, 16-17 also was a very good monsoon. If these were the drought years, then state government could have made a demand with the central government to provide for more funds for scarcity relief fund, which it did not. And then government itself has said that since the 15-16 and 16-17 were the good monsoon years, there was no reason to go to the central government and ask for more funds for this scarcity relief. Then why this 6 rupees in the first place at all? And now 3 rupees increase in that. I would like to tell you only one thing in this connection. There was a 10th Finance Commission under the chairmanship of Mr. A.M. Khusro, who said that the tendency of central and state governments to continue indefinitely with these surcharges or cess levied for a particular purpose must discontinue. And with this logic, if there is no drought this year, the original cess on drought of 6 rupees needed to be demolished. In spite of that, they have increased it by 3 rupees. Therefore, it is unnecessary.
Let me just bring in the voices on this panel right now. And I want to point out that this government in 2014 promised to bring down the prices of essential commodities. It was a very, very clear promise. Since 2014, excise duty hikes on petrol and on diesel have been unbelievable. I want to bring in Janvi Bhagat. Janvi Bhagat, आप हमें बताइए, आप घर चलाते हैं मुंबई में, and you have a story that will match any story of any woman across the country. People are running households across the country, whether it is in Delhi or in Mumbai or Chennai or Hyderabad or Pune. We're all struggling to make ends meet because of the way inflation has gone up. महंगाई जैसे बढ़ रही है. आप बताइए, आपको क्या लगता है कि अभी-अभी जो आपने सुना जवाब, Are you happy with that answer?
No, really not. क्योंकि ये जो बोल रहे हैं कि हमने ये सारा जो प्राइजेस हाइक किया है वो एग्रीकल्चर के लिए किया है या फार्मर्स के लिए किया है, अगर वो सच में इनके यहाँ से हो रहा है उनके लिए, तो फिर फार्मर्स की सुसाइड क्यों बढ़ रही है महाराष्ट्र में? और अगर हमारे जेब से निकाल के आप अगर उनको दे भी रहे हो तो ना उनकी पोजीशंस रिकवर हो रही है ना हमारी हो रही है। मतलब मिडिल क्लास भी उसमें पीस रहा है और फार्मर्स भी पीस रहे हैं। तो ये मुझे कोई मतलब ही नहीं लगता कि ऑलरेडी योर हाइक फॉर 6 रुपीज़ और वापस से अगर 3 रुपीज़ और ले रहे हो, तो लास्ट मंथ में आपने एलपीजी भी बढ़ाए, इस मंथ आप पेट्रोल और डीजल हाइक कर रहे हो, तो सारे ट्रांसपोर्टेशन रेट्स बढ़ेंगे और फिर वापस से महंगाई वापस बढ़ेगी। So it is very critical for us to running a house.
It's critical to run a house, and let me point out, school fees have gone up, LPG has gone up, food prices have gone up, basic commodities have gone up. There is no relief at all in sight for the middle class because jobs have not happened. The jobs that were supposed to come have not happened. So how is anybody supposed to actually make ends meet? Yogeshwar Wala, how does this price hike make you feel? Yogeshwar? Okay, Mahindra Jain is here with us. Mahindra Jain, how does this price hike make you feel?
Already we are paying us so much in Maharashtra, and one more hike, like I couldn't understand what to do now. Shall we shut down our bikes or our cars and keep it aside and do a walk which will be good for health, I guess?
Well, of course, Rajiv Mishra joins us right now. Rajiv Mishra, गवर्नमेंट का कहना है कि ये जो सारे पैसे हैं वो एग्रीकल्चर के लिए यूज़ कर रहे हैं, क्या आप ये मानते हैं?
देखिए, फिर आप जब भी कोई प्राइस हाइक होता है और आप उस पर जब प्रश्न खड़ा करती हैं तो हमेशा गवर्नमेंट की तरफ से इसी तरह के कोई बहाने ढूंढने के प्रयास किए जाते हैं, कभी किसानों के नाम पे, कभी गरीबों के नाम पे। लेकिन अगर आप गवर्नमेंट की एक स्ट्रेटजी देखेंगी तो आपको बहुत क्लियर पता लगेगा कि ये ज़्यादातर प्राइस हाइक उन चीज़ों पे कर रहे हैं जिनके बिना जीवन का चलना थोड़ा मुश्किल है। मतलब जो जीवनावश्यक वस्तुएं हैं, आज पेट्रोल और डीजल भी जीवनावश्यक वस्तुओं में से एक है। अभी अगर आप देखो तो सारे घर में कहीं ना कहीं बाइक तो कम से कम है ही लोगों के पास। अब वो साइकिल का ज़माना चला गया है, अब थोड़ा बाइक और स्कूटर का ज़माना आ गया है। ऐसी स्थिति में आज ये प्राइस हाइक जो है वो डायरेक्टली अगर आप इसको 3 रुपये न देखें, अगर आप इसकी क्वांटिटी देखेंगे कि किस क्वांटिटी पर इसका सेल होता है और उस हिसाब से अगर 3 रुपये बढ़ाए जाते हैं तो इसका जो वॉल्यूम ऑफ मनी है वो कितना है। जब तक आप इसको कैलकुलेट करेंगे तब आपको मालूम चलेगा कि गवर्नमेंट इस तरह के टेक्निक से आम आदमी के जेब से कितना रुपया निकालने में सफल हो रही है। और रही बात किसानों की, गरीबों की, तो फिर आप जानती हैं, आप लगातार अपने चैनल पे, मुझे तो खुशी इस बात की होती है कि आपका चैनल जब चारों तरफ ट्रिपल तलाक, गौ हत्या और बाकी के सारे ऐसे मुद्दे जो गैर जरूरी हैं इस देश के लिए, उस पर डिस्कशन कर रहे होते हैं, तब आपका चैनल उन इशूओं को टच करने की कोशिश करता है जिस इशूज को डायरेक्टली कॉमन मैन से जो रिलेटेड होते हैं या जो रियल माने में राष्ट्रहित से रिलेटेड है। तो इसलिए मैं तो ये आपको धन्यवाद अदा करता हूं कि आपने इस तरह के टॉपिक्स पे हमेशा अपनी आवाज़ अपने चैनल के माध्यम से बुलंद की है और आम लोगों को मौका दिया है इसमें अपनी आवाज़ रखने का। फिर मैं इतना जानता हूं कि गवर्नमेंट का कंप्लीट पॉलिसी ये है कि हमसे लूटो, हमसे वो लूट रहे हैं और अननेसेसरी चीज़ों पे जो कि अभी राष्ट्र के लिए जरूरी नहीं है। पहले तो इनको, गवर्नमेंट को ये बताना चाहिए कि राष्ट्र के लिए इनकी प्रायोरिटी क्या है, ये किस प्रायोरिटी पे काम करना चाहते हैं और उसके लिए इनके पास सफिशिएंट फंड है कि नहीं है, ये पहले वो राष्ट्र को बताएं। फिर राष्ट्र किसी भी तरह का कष्ट सहने को तैयार है, चाहे वो 2 रुपए के मार्फत से हो, चाहे 5 रुपए के मार्फत से हो, लेकिन पहले राष्ट्र को ये तो बताएं कि उनकी प्रायोरिटी क्या है, गवर्नमेंट की प्रायोरिटी क्या है, वो किन चीजों पर खर्च कर रही है,
किन चीजों पे खर्च कर रहे हो। एंड आई वांट टू ब्रिंग इन इंद्राणी मलकानी। इंद्राणी मलकानी, यू नो व्हाट, आई फील आई एम सिक ऑफ दिस। इनफ इज इनफ and I don't mind paying taxes. And a back of the envelope calculation for any average middle class person, remember that you pay income tax on the money that you make before it comes to you. Your salary gets cut before it comes to you. Then you pay service tax, you pay VAT, you pay cess, you pay Krishi Kalyan cess, you pay education cess, you pay Swachh Bharat cess, you pay a cess on the cess, and there is excise duty, and there is octroi, and it just goes on and on and on. And we were running those visuals on the screen right now. Please put them back of the kind of prices we're paying for petrol in our cities. 77 rupees on something that the cost is actually 27 rupees. Where is 77? Where is 27? Where is the conscience in the government's making this kind of money off us? Remember, it costs 27 rupees. Petrol actually costs 27 rupees. The petrol dealer is making 2.5 rupees margin per litre, which means that you shouldn't be charging me any more than 30 rupees. In Bangalore, we're paying 73 rupees for petrol. Think about the family in Rani Malkani that puts 5 litres of petrol in their motorcycle once a week and then tries to make do with what they have. Where is the justice? Where is the accountability?
Well, Faye, as you rightly said, accountability is a very rare word very often. You spoke right from the beginning about the rates of the different cities. I want to bring in a point here. The oil comes from Bombay High, the crude, gets refined in Mumbai, and then it is transported to Delhi. The Delhi price is lower than Mumbai. Where is the logic? Delhi should be having more, if you look at it from the cost point of view. So Mumbai is jacked. Mumbai is the highest from the chart that you have just shown, where it is produced. Now, having said that, we go to the issue of accountability. You talked about education cess. We don't know that cess is being used for which purpose of upliftment of education. When you talk about drought, many points the panelists have already spoken about. Who gets affected? If you look at the government officials, you look at the elected representatives, you look at the top corporates, their bills are paid by the company. Who gets jacked in the middle? Middle class, yes. But look at the retired people. Look at the senior citizens. Are they not supposed to be using vehicles? Is that what the statement is? It can't be right. Also, just now, Rajiv spoke about priority. So why is there no cost cutting? We should be looking at cost cutting instead of taxing, because logically it defies understanding this hike at this point of time on petrol.
So the priorities right now are to make memorials in our states.
I'm glad you brought this up, because you already had a debate on that. Where is the justification? Yes, a memorial is certainly something which should be looked at, for our city and as an iconic thing, etc. But when we are looking at this particular statue which we are talking about, we should be looking at the citizens' problems. Never mind the challenges that are already there, and it's well known now, the place where it is being touted to be built, and it has nothing to do with the present government. Many of these things are a legacy of the past governments also. So cutting across all political parties, we should be looking at that how are the citizens being treated.
Let's bring Bishwas Pathak back in. Mr. Pathak, give us, you've heard the entire panel speak. Everybody's given their opening statements. Give us the justification on the priorities. If the Maharashtra government, from what we understand, is 3,548 crore rupees in debt at this point, how can we afford statues and memorials? If you're talking about priorities at this point and farmers are actually killing themselves and you're squeezing the middle class for every last drop that's available with them, where are the priorities of the government? Why are we still talking about statues that we can do without? Why aren't we focusing that money on the farmers? Why are we still squeezing the middle class?
I think in this debate, mixing up the issue of statue is not very correct.
Why not?
Because Shivaji Maharaj is a warrior of the state, and he's altogether different respect for the nation.
It altogether comes out of the same state budget. That altogether comes out of my pocket, sir. I have a right to ask my questions and I expect an answer.
Rather, I feel ashamed that after 400 years also, I could not build a proper memorial for my Shivaji Maharaj.
You should feel ashamed, sir, that after 3 years of government that these many farmers are still killing themselves.
I'm coming to the priorities. See, before coming to the priorities,
I'm ashamed that 400 farmers in the state of Maharashtra killed themselves in the month of January alone. That makes me ashamed. It does not make me ashamed that there is no statue outside my city. It makes me ashamed that we are still pumping pure untreated sewage into the ocean of Mumbai. That makes me ashamed. When I look at any other big city in the world and I realize that my city is still pumping sewage from our houses into the sea, that makes me ashamed. When I realize how many people in our city live without basic water and sewage connections, that makes me ashamed. When I realize how many people in the state of Maharashtra go to bed without food, how many children are starving, how many children are malnourished, how many women do not get the help they need when they are pregnant, that makes me ashamed. And I don't understand why it doesn't make you ashamed.
Even we too ashamed.
Not enough apparently,
Don't
sir.
impose, we too ashamed, and therefore there are priorities. For this government as well as the government in center, agriculture is a priority. If you look at the allocation of the funds, maximum funds are going in agriculture. Look at the situation, we have got 4 lakh crores loans. We have got 30,000 towards the interest payments. We have got many more things required for infrastructure development, and therefore collection of money, revenue, for that cess is one of the avenues. You may be aware that around 50% of our revenue comes from petroleum products, excise duties. Therefore, that cannot be done away. Though I appreciate that the hike cannot be justified. However, looking at the situation, one more unprecedented judgment by Honorable Supreme Court, 8,000 crores would be lost in this excise duty from alcoholic products. Where from all these monies can be made out? 8,000 crores loss from excise duty means around 2,000 to 3,000 crores allocation of funds which are earmarked for farmers will also be lost. If we try to recover it by 1,000 crores through this cess, I think public is with us. It has been effected from 22nd. By and large, people are happily
The 3,600 crore rupees can come from the budget that has been set aside for the memorial. Let me help you with your problem. Rajiv Mishra ji, 3,600 crore rupees set aside for the statue. Let's actually look at our budget a little more objectively here.
ये केवल स्टैचू की बात नहीं है. ये जो 8,000 करोड़ रुपए का ये जो तर्क दिया जा रहा है कि 8,000 करोड़ रुपए सुप्रीम कोर्ट के जजमेंट से इनको नुकसान हो रहा है, अगर आप इनके टैक्सेशन पे चली जाएं तो आपको मालूम चलेगा कि एक्साइज ड्यूटी में चोरी कितनी हो रही है, आपको मालूम चलेगा वैट में चोरी कितनी हो रही है, आपको मालूम चलेगा इनकम टैक्स में चोरी कितनी हो रही है. सबसे बड़ी बात कि आप जो टैक्सेशन पहले से लागू है, पहले उसको ठीक से कलेक्ट तो करो, फिर आम आदमी पर कोई एक्स्ट्रा बर्डन डालो. आप एक तरफ लोगों को टैक्स चोरी करने में सपोर्ट कर रहे हो, आप उसके लिए कोई ऐसा कोई रेगुलेशन या कोई ऐसी स्ट्रेटजी तैयार नहीं कर रहे हो कि कैसे टैक्स की जो चोरी कर रहे हैं उन लोगों पर नकेल कसी जाए. आप ये सब तो कर नहीं रहे हो. आप ये आसानी से देख रहे हो कि कैसे आम आदमी के पेट से पॉकेट से पैसा निकाला जाए. हम लोग आम आदमी हैं, हम न तो न तो हम एजिटेशन कर सकते हैं, न तो हम आंदोलन कर सकते हैं, इसलिए आप मेरे जेब से आसानी से पैसा ले रहे हो. और अभी आपकी एक स्ट्रेटजी ऐसी चल पड़ी है कि आप अब जन आंदोलन को समाप्त करने में लगे हो. अब आपकी स्ट्रेटजी पूरी तरीके से, मैं जो पिछले 3-4 सालों से देख रहा हूं, पहले की गवर्नमेंट ने भी कुछ नहीं किया, मैं किसी पहले की गवर्नमेंट का सपोर्ट नहीं करूंगा, लेकिन आज जो 3-4 सालों से मैं देख रहा हूं, अब तो ऐसी स्थिति है कि अगर आप जन आंदोलन करने निकले हो मतलब आप राष्ट्रद्रोही हो. अगर आपने सरकार की किसी नीति का विरोध किया है इसका मतलब आप ईमानदार नहीं हो, आप ईमानदारी का समर्थन नहीं कर रहे, आप भ्रष्टाचारियों के साथ खड़े हो. ये अगर स्ट्रेटजी चलेगी देश में तो फिर लोग अपनी आवाज कैसे बुलंद कर पाएंगे. आज अगर आप देखो, अगर आप
राजीव, एक मिनट, आई जस्ट वांट टू ब्रिंग इन जानवी भगत. जानवी, क्या आपको लगता है कि द गवर्नमेंट इज जस्ट टेकिंग मनी आउट ऑफ द मिडिल क्लास constantly on every chance that they get?
Yes, every chance. मतलब वो ऐसा एक भी मौका नहीं छोड़ रहे जब वो मिडिल क्लास के जेब से पैसा ना निकाल सके. हर 5 ट्रांजैक्शन के बाद वो ATM में से पैसा निकाल रहे हैं, 150 रुपीज़ पर ट्रांजैक्शन. तो फिर डिजिटल इंडिया की वो क्यों डिमांड कर रहे हैं कि हम लोग क्यों हमारा पैसा अकाउंट में रखें, अगर हमें हर एक 5 ट्रांजैक्शन के बाद अगर 150 रुपीज़ पे कर रहे हैं. बाद में जो प्राइजेस हाइक हो रही है एवरी मंथ, तो एवरी मंथ अगर ये ट्रांसपोर्टेशन के प्राइजेस बढ़ाएंगे, ये टोल के प्राइजेस बढ़ाएंगे, ये सारे जो बेसिक जो रिक्वायरमेंट्स है हमारी उसके प्राइजेस बढ़ाएंगे. TDS हम लोग पे कर रहे हैं ऑलरेडी, हम लोग वैट पे कर रहे हैं, सर्विस टैक्स पे कर रहे हैं. मतलब इस देश में लगभग 70% ऑफ मनी फ्रॉम मिडिल क्लास इज गोइंग टू डायरेक्टली बाय द टैक्स. और फिर भी हम लोग डेवलपिंग कंट्री खुद को बता रहे.
और अगर सोचो कि हम मान भी गए कि इस कंट्री की बोझ हम मिडिल क्लास ही उठाएंगे, मिडिल क्लास विल पे फॉर इट. Mahendra Jain, my question to you is, where is the accountability? Where is the road? Where is the water? Where is the electricity?
I'm a cross-country rider in India. I've been traveling to all the states in India, so I can vouch for it. Check out the infrastructure in Jharkhand, a small state, recently developed state like Jharkhand has the best infrastructure than in Maharashtra. Check out the Mumbai roads. Each and every road is dug up. Where is the money going?
Where is the money going? And we know that there is a budget. Ravi Shinde, where is the money going?
Well, tell me, I'll make out a point. I remember when the crude was hovering around $130 a barrel. I remember selling petrol at 80 rupees a litre. Now the crude is close to $50 a barrel and still I am close to 80 rupees a litre. Now this defies any logic, and I am surprised. Today I am hearing some angry voices from the participants. Let the anger be shown on the street. This is exactly not done. This is absolutely loot, which I feel that petrol dealer who is going through all his hazards of selling petrol, now the prices may go still further up when this harebrained idea of the government to sell petrol and diesel at home delivery. It is going to attract transportation charges, it's going to attract service charge. So where is going to end? And then you are creating bomb at every household. So that's another subject, but I'm just touching out that where the crude was and where it is crude now.
Faye, the other point, there is we've been talking about various issues. We wonder about two things here. Today, cars, which runs on petrol, because the other vehicles run more on diesel. Today, cars are not a luxury necessarily.
No, so therefore, right. So see, none of us would buy cars if we had a decent public transport system in our cities. We have terrible public transport systems. No person in their right mind, if they had a choice, would get on the Mumbai local. It is not meant for human transportation. The people who get on the Mumbai local every day don't have a choice. They do it because there is no option given to them by the governments who run this city. The people who get on the buses in cities like Pune, in cities like Bangalore, in cities like Hyderabad and Chennai and Delhi do it because they don't have a choice. If the person has a choice, they will buy a car, and that's because our governments have repeatedly let us down in all of our cities. And now you're making it worse by punishing us one more time. Vasant Patil is on the phone line from Mumbai. Vasant Patil, go ahead.
Just bring you back to September 2015 when 2 rupees was VAT was given on the diesel and petrol, and it was supposed to be till end of February 16. Recently, when I contacted Finance Secretary, we were so shocked. See, we are from Voice of Indian Taxpayer. We were so shocked that this is not a specific tax, so it cannot be withdrawn as a drought relief measure. Unless, of course, it is mentioned in the gazette or it is the notification has to be given. So that means earlier 2 rupees cannot be withdrawn unless you do it. Now, recent one, moreover, the recent one again, the mere statement in the Times, in the newspaper, print media, or in a assembly is not going to be valid reason or valid documentation. Recently, what has happened, recent 3 rupees now on a petrol, again the same fate. On the top of it, when you're talking about retail dispensing the petrol especially for a small motorbikes and everything, unfortunately, our Measurement Act, legal metrological organization, which was falling under earlier.
Yes. So basically, it's without conscience, this price hike, and the government turning around and saying we have no choice. Petrol is 50% of our revenue right now. What you're effectively saying is that the middle class is 50% of your revenue right now. You've lost all other ideas of how to make revenue. You're not able to balance your books. All you can do is constantly reach into our pockets. Khurshid is on the phone line from Mumbai. He's a lawyer. Khurshid, go ahead. Khurshid?
Hi.
Yes, go ahead. We can hear you.
Hi. My question to the government basically is that you are raising the petrol prices in order to make expenses coverable for the farmers and for agriculture. My bigger question is, first of all, what is the need for unnecessary expenses? As I second the idea of Malkani ma'am, that what do we need that much amount of money for the statue, which can be utilized better for the purpose of the people, including for a water desalination plant, and remove draft altogether by putting out this water from the desalination for the entire state, because India per se has no less amount of water. We have endless supply. So if this amount were instead done for a better thing, we wouldn't have draft, which would effectively mean that the farmers would need less help than what is being shown. Why doesn't the government cut expenses to the petrols and the diesel for the various government vehicles and for the escorts and for all the perks and privileges which the babus and the politicos get? Why isn't the variety of all expenses which that's done, including the salary raise? Which
where is the frugality going to come in? You're right.
Yes.
Daud Khan is also called from Assam. Go ahead, Mr. Khan.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening.
I just want to ask a simple question. The way the prices are going up day by day regarding the petrol and all, for how long is going to carry on this way? It's a very simple question to my BJP leader, Mr. Pathak.
Mr. Pathak, these are all questions coming in from various people to you and to the party that runs this both state and the centre at this point. I want to remind you, I'm reading out of the manifesto of the BJP for the 2014 central elections, Mr. Pathak. Energy to generate more, to use rationally and to waste less. The BJP realizes the need to focus on generation distribution of power. Overall goal is to create energy security and ensure affordable energy. Steps will be taken to reduce dependence on any one fuel, ensure supplier diversity, avoid reliance, come out with responsible, comprehensive energy policy, take steps to maximize the potential of oil, gas and hydropower. How much of this has been done in the last 3 years, Mr. Pathak?
Yeah, good question. I think living to our commitment, we have done many things in energy sector. Number one, in energy sector, coal was very important issue, and we resolved the issue of coal. And
if you did, how is it that petrol keeps getting more and more expensive? You know what, Mr. Pathak, I don't see the impact.
Now let me complete.
I don't see the impact. Why is petrol still becoming more expensive? LPG is becoming more expensive. Diesel is becoming more expensive.
Let me tell you electricity scenario. It is a very important question. Today we are power surplus. There were 18,000 villages where
so you are
electricity was
fleecing
not
us
reached.
by charging us money more when you are in a surplus.
Who told you you are water surplus, electricity surplus? Where is the statistics of the concerned ministry?
I will tell you. Electricity surplus we are. There are standard power plants available now. We can generate power anytime.
You can generate. You are not generating.
Then
you
why
can
is
generate.
Yes.
Why are there power cuts then?
Don't throw away these platitudes.
So understand, Mr. Mahajan, please hold on. There are issues of network. We are augmenting, we are improving the network conditions. Once it is done, power can be supplied.
But you said we are already surplus in electricity.
It is surplus.
Now you are changing the goalpost.
In terms of demand and supply, it is surplus.
How can the debate go on like this?
Dr. Mahajan, in terms of demand and supply, we are surplus.
What does that mean? What does that mean?
Water demand is there, we are providing. It is also.
What does that mean?
It means
in terms of demand and supply, we are surplus. That means you are satisfying all the demands, but you have some amount of power in balance. So where have you stored that balance power?
Power cannot be stored, Mr. Mahajan. It's a very
correct.
Yes.
That's why I asked this
But we can generate.
Since I know that it cannot be stored, I asked this question. When you said you are surplus, where is it?
Surplus means in terms of demand and supply.
How does that?
And demand is about affordability.
What sort of logic is it? What sort of economics is this? What sort of energy science is this?
I'll tell you.
And you want us to believe all that you are saying?
No, plus understand.
See, Mr. Pathak, it's very simple.
Don't believe,
farmers,
understand the basics.
By your own admission, farmers are paying more for electricity. I am paying more for electricity. Janvi is paying more for electricity. We're paying more for LPG. We're paying more for diesel. We're paying more for petrol. Where is this energy plan that we were talking about? Tell me one form of energy that has gotten cheaper since 2014. Any one type of energy that has actually become cheaper for any group in this country.
Including coal.
Including coal, not just the middle class. Have you managed to make anything cheaper for the farmers? Have you managed to make anything cheaper for the people below the poverty line? Tell me.
Don't confuse and misguide. Now tell me, what is the price for the farmers in Maharashtra? Are you aware? Maharashtra is giving cheapest electricity to the agriculturist. That is around 1 rupee per unit. Our average cost of power generation in Maharashtra is around, distribution is around 5 rupees.
Then why are they still committing suicide?
No, don't confuse your, don't mislead your viewers.
No, Mr. Okay,
we are doing a lot of things
Mr.
in energy sector.
Mr. Pathak, has the
leadership.
price of electricity for farmers gone up? Yes or no?
It has not gone up.
It has not gone up at all.
Make your
This is complete misreporting.
Yes.
This you just said that there is a 4-year plan. According to the 4-year plan, is there an increase in the 4-year plan or a decrease in the 4-year plan?
After
there
the
is an increase. If you are in a power surplus, why does the 4-year plan contain an increase?
Madam, don't confuse.
No. I'm asking you. See, I don't know anything, sir. I'm not the expert. You are the one who runs the government. You please explain to me. If you are in a surplus of electricity, why does the 4-year plan involve an increase for farmers and not a decrease for farmers? Now tell me, why is there, according to the government, why is LPG prices constantly going up? Why were there 4 bump-ups of excise duty on diesel? Why are there so many bump-ups?
You're not allowing me to talk only.
I'm asking you all my questions.
You're just confusing
you're not
the
giving
viewers.
me answers, sir.
I'm talking as a power expert. Let me tell you. See, after 4 years, power hike would be 9%. Now, what is inflation per annum? Inflation is more than 10%.
That's because the diesel prices keep going up.
No,
if you keep hiking fuel prices, inflation will keep going up.
You are mixing up the issues.
This is besides the point.
You are mixing up the issues.
The point is, where is the surplus power going?
So if they have a surplus...
That is the simple point.
Mr. Mahajan, what is demand and supply? In terms of demand, if today demand is 23,000 megawatt, 23,000 megawatt in Maharashtra, we are supplying that power because demand is 23,000. Tomorrow, if rain falls or temperature goes down and demand is 6,000, we have to manage it that way only.
If
therefore,
rain
it is a game of demand
you.
and supply, it cannot be stored. I don't know, you don't understand the basics of this power.
Oh, I don't understand anything. You understand everything more than me. I'm asking, if you are surplus in power, do you supply surplus power to some other state as Maharashtra used to do some years back?
We do that. There is
Which state do you supply? Which state do you supply? Tell me.
There is central grid concept. It's infungible. Power goes into central grid. You can't identify whether it is in Uttar Pradesh or Punjab.
That means
so. What is the revenue you are making from this?
Let's
stay. I want to bring us back to the point that we were discussing, because otherwise, if we talk about inefficiencies of government, we could be here all night. There was a time when crude was at $130 per barrel, and we were buying petrol at 64. Crude is tonight, as of tonight, 49 rupees Brent a barrel. We are buying petrol at 77 rupees. This is daylight robbery. I should have gotten the benefit of lower crude prices. Somebody is pocketing the money on the way. Now,
same about the gas.
Now, if you are pocketing the money, please tell me what you're using that money for.
See, now this issue is not BJP or Congress. I will also give another fact. When barrel was $138, price of the petrol was 50, price of the diesel was 40. When this barrel came down from 138 to 90, prices remain unchanged to 50 and 40.
That just sounds like mismanagement, Mr. Pathak. You're not answering my question. Where is the money going?
No, the money goes in development. Money goes in development.
What development,
for
sir?
revenue purposes.
Which development? Please identify.
I can't see any roads in
Please
Maharashtra.
identify, because all this while...
Have you heard of load shedding in Maharashtra for last 2 years? Have you heard of load shedding?
Rajiv Mishra smiling. Rajiv Mishra, आप बताइए, आपके पास आंकड़े हैं?
फेम, मैं सिर्फ गवर्नमेंट से इतना चाहता हूं कि आप पेट्रोल का प्राइस किस आधार पे डिसाइड करते हैं और किस आधार को आपने, इसके लिए एक पैमाना होता है कि आप कैसे पेट्रोल का प्राइस या डीजल का प्राइस डिसाइड करते हैं। आप ये लोगों के सामने क्यों नहीं लाते? आप ट्रांसपेरेंसी क्यों नहीं रखते अपने पेट्रोल प्राइसिंग में? हम लोगों को मालूम होना चाहिए कि क्रूड ऑयल पर कितना खर्च होता है, उसके क्या बोलते हैं उसको, उसके शुद्धिकरण पे कितना खर्च होता है, उसके बाद मार्केट में आने पर उसका क्या खर्च होता है, मुझे मालूम होना चाहिए कि नहीं होना चाहिए। आप कुछ भी तर्क दे रहे हो कि हाँ भाई हम इसके लिए बढ़ा रहे हैं, हमको हमारा 50% रेवेन्यू जो है पेट्रोलियम पदार्थ से आता है और हमको देश में डेवलपमेंट करना है इसलिए हम कर रहे हैं, तो हमको भी तो मालूम होना चाहिए कि आप हमसे कितना पैसा ले रहे हो और हमारा कितना पार्ट जो है डेवलपमेंट पे आप खर्च कर रहे हो। आप किसानों का, गरीबों का नाम लेकर के कम से कम कॉमन मैन को बेवकूफ बनाना अब छोड़ दो। और मेरा तो आपसे एक निवेदन है कि अगर आपको रियल माने में कुछ करना है तो पहले एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन सुधारो, अपनी प्रायोरिटी निर्धारित करो। आज आप, फिर मैं एक छोटा सा उदाहरण आपको दूंगा कि आज मेट्रो ट्रेन के नाम पर आप जहां जाओ, आपको हर जगह, हर छोटी बड़ी सिटी में आज मेट्रो ट्रेन को इंट्रोड्यूस किया जा रहा है। आप मेरे को बताओ, मेट्रो ट्रेन नाम पड़ा मेट्रो सिटीज के लिए, जहां पर की पॉपुलेशन ज्यादा हो, जहां लोगों का आना जाना ज्यादा हो, वहां मेट्रो ट्रेन का कंसेप्ट आता है। आप हर छोटी बड़ी सिटी में मेट्रो ट्रेन ला रहे हो, फेज 1, फेज 2, फेज 3, फेज 4 करके आप 30-30 हजार करोड़, 40-40 हजार करोड़ रुपया बिना इस चीज का इंपैक्ट असेसमेंट देखे हुए कि हाँ ये खर्च करने के बाद आपको इसकी रिकवरी है कि नहीं, या इसका सही उपयोग है कि नहीं, बिना इसका किए आप 40-40 हजार करोड़ के प्रोजेक्ट को मंजूरी दे रहे हो। आखिर इस देश को कब तक लूटोगे आप? कब तक?
I have a very simple question. Mahendra, I'll bring you in here. If the government, and I'll accept, as Mr. Pathak said, that there have been some hits on the government, the highway alcohol vents have been shut down, there is going to be a loss of revenue. Tax cigarettes, it's an option. Tax the wine, the domestic wine that is produced in the state of Maharashtra. Why are you taxing petrol? That is a necessity. Absolutely. If there is someone who takes a motorcycle to work every day, that man has no choice. Is he going to walk? It is a necessity. Why would you increase the price of LPG? Cooking gas cannot be used for anything else but to make food and feed our children. You are taking advantage of the fact that we have no choice. Mahendra.
Yeah, that's what I said. Why always a petrol? It's a necessity now. It's not a luxury for people now. We need petrol for every need, like transportation or whatever. Everything is on the petrol, right?
You talked about, gas, cooking gas. What happened to the pipelines? The piped gas, which was supposed to come in for the city of Mumbai, it hasn't progressed. So, talking about development is all very fine. But we need to have some rationale. We need to have some accountability to know where it is going. This increase in VAT for petrol does not justify what is being told to us. Because on what basis is Mumbai citizens being taxed to this extent? MMR for that matter, because it's become like a cash cow. Milk through tax.
There is also another point which needs to be mentioned here. Hike in petrol prices doesn't remain limited to the hike in petrol prices only. It has got a cascading effects on the prices of all essential commodities, including food, milk, vegetables, and all these things. So every time you hike a price of the petrol, you should be also thinking of what cascading effect it has on the rising price, already rising prices of essential commodities.
And we should point out, let me just bring out these numbers. The price of diesel, 24% of what is paid for diesel is VAT, is state VAT. 21% in the rest of the state outside of Mumbai. The price of petrol, VAT is 25%, surcharge is 9 rupees, central excise is 15%, octroi is 2 rupees 50 paise. All of this adds to inflation, because everything that comes into our cities, whichever city we're talking about, whether it's Bangalore, Hyderabad, Chennai, Mumbai, Pune, all of it comes on trucks. The price of food will go up. And then the government will turn around and say, inflation, dekha aapne kitna inflation kitna hua. This is just going around in circles. There is a gross mismanagement of this problem. And we are no longer piggy banks of the government that you can just reach into our pockets and take out money thinking that we have no choice. Janvi ji, aap bataiye, aapke ghar mein piped gas aati hai ki aap LPG se cylinder use karte hain?
And what's the price today of LPG?
Aur aap price kya de rahe ho abhi?
770.
Just imagine that. Yeah. And usually in a household of say 4-5, it's once a month.
आप महीने के 770 देते हो. आपके घर में 2-wheeler है?
Yeah, it's 2-wheeler.
आप कैसे मैनेज करोगे अभी?
मैनेज करना अभी मुश्किल ही हो गया है, बिकॉज ये ट्रांसपोर्टेशन नहीं है, एक घंटा बसेस नहीं है, ट्रेन्स नहीं है, टैक्सी अवेलेबल नहीं होती, तो 2-wheeler इज अ कंपलसरी फॉर ट्रांसपोर्टेशन. लाइक अगर स्कूल में बच्चों को ड्रॉप करना है, ऑफिस में पहुंचना है टाइम पे, तो 2-wheeler इज लाइक जैसे घर के बाकी सारे चीज़ें जैसे ज़रूरी है, वैसे ही हमें अभी वो 2-wheelers या 4-wheelers वो भी ज़रूरी है. और ये मिडिल क्लास की जो सारी ज़रूरतमंद चीज़ें हैं उसी पे वो अटैक कर रहे हैं. जैसे मिडिल क्लास और फार्मर्स इज़ लाइक अ एसेट कि इनसे आप कमाइए और इनको आप चूसते रहिए ताकि ये वही उसी में वो दब जाए। इनके पास कोई भी ऐसा टैक्स नहीं है जो कॉर्पोरेट पे लागू हो या फिर इनके मिनिस्टर्स पे लागू हो। ये सब्सिडी
वो कम करते हैं
और ये सब्सिडी देना बंद नहीं कर रहे अपने एमपीज को, अपने एमएलएस को, अपने कॉर्पोरेटर्स को। उनकी सब्सिडी चालू है, उनके सारे लैविश चोचले ये लोग पूरे कर रहे हैं और सिर्फ मिडिल क्लास और फार्मर्स के नाम पे ये लोग लूट रहे हैं हमें।
Yes, but that's exactly the point, that why our perks which are being given are not reduced in order to make up for the deficit when you are talking about a deficit. When we are talking about VAT today on petrol, eventually you will put the VAT on diesel as well, because you can't have a discrimination to that extent. What will happen with the diesel? All your goods, trucks, etc. will be affected. All the prices, essential commodities for our livelihood will go up. And that is not, that's a no-brainer.
This out. The difference in the price of petrol between Mumbai and Delhi is 10 rupees. There's a 10 rupee difference between what Mumbai pays for petrol and what Delhi pays for petrol, which means that if there's somebody using a motorbike to drop his children to school every day, and he puts 10 liters of petrol in his motorcycle, there's 100 rupees extra he has to pay for no good reason but punishment that he lives in the city of Mumbai.
That's because Delhi is a pampered city, being a capital.
If you live in Bangalore, 5 rupees more than the city of Delhi you are paying in Bangalore for motorcycles. Now we know everybody rides two-wheelers in Bangalore. If you live in Hyderabad, you're paying 4 rupees more. In Chennai, you're paying 3 rupees more. In Kolkata, you're paying 2 rupees more. Where is the justification for these state governments to take advantage of us in this manner? And my point remains the same thing. Okay, you want to take advantage of us? I want hisab.
I want to say something that some semblance of sanity will come if petroleum products are brought under GST.
You want petroleum to be brought under GST? Is it also, Ravi Shinde, now that petroleum is not being brought under GST, that the governments are going to continue to use petrol and diesel as an opportunity to make up for the loss of revenue from GST?
Difficult to say.
That's what is happening right now. It's a milking cow, petrol and diesel. Diesel, they have not dared touch it, because all the state business would have flowed to the neighboring state, which they have suffered in the past. And we had brought to the notice of the government that as soon as you increase the rates of diesel beyond the rates of the neighboring state, you are going to lose massively. And this was realized. That is the reason you can see that they could not put it on diesel. They have put everything on petrol, and they want to make up the losses what they lost on liquor. So it is the path of least resistance. Let it be taxed and people don't make any noise about it.
But it's also true that as per Supreme Court, slowly the diesel cars will be out and then the petrol. So there you go, your cash cow.
Let me also bring in Nagesh. Nagesh is on the phone line from Bangalore. Nagesh, go ahead. Nagesh, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Go ahead, Nagesh.
Yeah, see, in the year 2013, the per barrel, the price was 135 globally. And now the prices have come down to $49, but still the prices of petrol or diesel have not come down.
Still the prices of petrol and diesel have not come down. Yes, that is the point we're making. We've seen a remarkable crash of crude prices across the world. The world prices have come down, but we've not seen a benefit, not 1 rupee in the last 3 years. The governments have just been shoring up their pockets and filling up their coffers with this money to make up for the fiscal deficit, which is great. Nobody is complaining. Give us an account. My point on this show, as I wrap up this show right now, is simply this. We've talked about it, and the truth is that if you increase the price of fuel, you are squeezing the middle class. You are squeezing the middle class for every last rupee that we have. And we are not going to take this pressure much longer, because we don't see that money translating into the better life that we were promised. We don't have the roads. We don't have the unlimited power across the country. We don't have clean water. We don't have open spaces. We don't have a cleanup of the corrupt system. We still have to bribe everyone in every government office. Nothing has changed except the money that we are paying out of our pockets. It is just not good enough. मुझे एक-एक रुपए की हिसाब चाहिए. I want an account. Take my money. But when you take my money, you then become accountable to me as a citizen of this country. I want an account. This government should put out an account of every paisa. I want to know where the Swachh Bharat cess is going. I want to know where the Krishi Kalyan cess is going. I want to know where your drought cess went 2 years ago. And I want to know if you're collecting this extra 1,000 crore rupees from me, where is it going to go? Which farmer is receiving the benefit? Which power line did you install? How much did you spend? Audit it, put it up on public. This is a government that believes in the internet. Let's see the truth. And if you cannot put up the truth, it's because you're hiding something, and that's not enough. Do not bank on the middle class to constantly keep quiet and put up with this nonsense, because we're not going to do it for much longer. Thanks for watching.